if we were to put a message out to the journalists themselves, those 1,500 employees of independent media, are they at any risk at all of the company being liquidated, of their livelihoods being impacted?
Well, I think it's always good to look at what's happened here. So when we acquired independent media and we created a special purpose vehicle, that vehicle was called Sekunjalo Independent Media. Together with the PIC and together with Intercom, which is the Chinese vehicle, we invested and we took that money and we paid the Irish for the business. Soon after so all of the money that was raised by all three parties went to the Irish. That's the first point to make. Subsequent to that, independent media and Sekunjalo Independent Media together paid the Irish, not the Irish, the PIC and Intercom almost 650 million. Not a single cent was invested further. So they were paid back another 650 million, just to be very clear. Not a single cent was invested by the PIC or Intercom since the acquisition. It is Sekunjalo Holdings, the holding company for the whole Sekunjalo group, that has invested upwards of 300 million into independent media and continues to invest that today. So it is independent media that owes Sekunjalo funds as well. And what happened subsequent to all of this was that the PIC, along with the other shareholders, signed various agreements, and also those agreements had the effect of nullifying effectively the amounts owed, and they were transactions. The PIC is fully aware of this. And when the PIC sent a letter specifically to Sekunjalo Independent Media, which is just a special purpose vehicle of a consortium completely ring-fenced, with no exposure to Sekunjalo Investment Holdings. Remember, Sekunjalo Investment Holdings itself has invested money into independent media and Sekunjalo Independent Media. Sekunjalo Independent Media, through its lawyers, responded to the PIC, explained to them there is no basis for you writing this letter, and we haven't heard from them. The next time we heard from them was when the legal head of the PIC went to Parliament and made certain statements, which again, we asked them to withdraw within 24 hours, which they did. They sent us letters withdrawing them. Then we saw, for the second time, statements being made in a Sunday newspaper and on television. We've again written to them to say, hey, you're making statements out there. Now, either the PIC officials are not fully informed about the paperwork, let's call it that, are not fully informed about what has transpired between the various legal parties, or, and I would hate to think so, they are willfully misrepresenting the position out there. Either way, that's not good for independent media, it's not good for the PIC. And I do think it's important that the PIC and Sekunjalo Independent Media and our Chinese partners sit together and we map out a solution which is really firstly in the interest of our employees. It's very important that we put our employees first and foremost. And I would even say to the PIC, I personally, if you have a gripe with me or political gripe with me or whatever it is, whoever has it with me, because I so strongly believe in media freedom, I'm happy even to step down. If it means that we can save the jobs of people, we can safeguard the integrity of this company, its brands, because that's more important to me than all this publicity which only destroys value, which doesn't help anybody. These are very valuable brands. It's the largest black-owned media company. It's an important institution. Why not come and talk to us? I was really shocked to discover they're busy talking to Steinhoff about a mediation or something of the sort. Why not come and talk to Sekunjalo Independent Media? Why not come and talk to IO Technologies? Because it doesn't help the pensioners or the investors if you, by these actions, by these reckless statements, if you destroy value. But it doesn't help the thousands of employees. I mean, you know, if you take the families and all the employees together, you are talking almost 50,000 people that are affected. We have spent 20 years building this business. The notion that we are anything like the Gupta family is just absurd. Besides the fact that we oppose the Gupta family, the fact is that this is one of the remaining black empowerment groups that came out of the last 20 years. We have gone through cycles of hard times and good times, and we've solidly built businesses, added employees, acquired companies. The only black company that has got 3 public companies listed on the JSE. The only black company that is in sectors that have been, you know, out of bounds, largely for black companies. This is something to be proud of. I personally don't see Sekunjalo as my company, even though I'm the chairman and I'm the shareholder. I see it as a project belonging to the people of South Africa, black and white, by the way, because we're a non-racial company, but it's a special company that really sort of advances black empowerment in a way that it doesn't create a ceiling for black people. It gives them the opportunity to test waters and do things. And it's such an important project to me personally, because the country needs this. You know, South Africa is not going to survive if it doesn't understand the need to support empowerment initiatives. So my sort of 2 cents worth to the PIC is that maybe you haven't read the documentation, maybe you have not been informed by your legal teams, maybe there's other agendas, but whatever it is, set it aside. Let's sit down, let's talk in the interest, and I've said it to you before, if I'm an obstacle because people believe that you know, my feelings about media freedom are too strong, that I should be less independent, I should be partisan, which I'm not prepared to do personally, because I fought for this constitution, I fought for these values, and I'd much rather step aside. You know, I can't sacrifice the principles and values for which I believe in. As I said to someone, you know, a long time ago, I don't think all the money in the world is worth freedoms. It's only when you no longer have those freedoms you realize that. And so I just carry the tradition of Nelson Mandela and others that were imprisoned, you know, on Robben Island, who continue to fight for freedom. I'm just doing that. So yes, I'm being targeted, statements being made, my reputation, all of that is being affected. But that is the price you pay for freedom. Mandela and many others spent decades in prison. Others died for the price for freedom. This is no different. It's just that it's not the gun, you know. It's the pen here that we're defending. It's the right maybe the computer or whatever that we're defending. But we have to. You know, we have to. And they cannot get away with this kind of thing. They cannot. And I really would call upon our leadership in the country, including the president, to defend this media freedom. I think it's important for him. I think it's important for our country. It's important for everybody, for all parties. And of course, if there are any issues with the FSC or anyone else, let's deal with that within the necessary forums. We welcome institutions, commissions, regulators, but let's deal with that properly, with due process. Let's deal with that as you would any other individual or organization. That's okay. You must not dismiss that. I think that must be done. But all we're saying is don't intimidate us, bully us, target us, try and destroy us, because the agenda is much broader than simply those issues.
Doc, thank you so much.
Thank you.